inside the hospital. Mom's all like, dad's all like, baby's like, it's a lot.
Wow.
And I was like, this child's first photo is straight up viral, like fire. Like
That's crazy.
It's got
usually photos
likes
for the
on it.
first like the first week or 7 of photos, like they all just look like little like Voldemort under the bench in the train station, you know, just like
It's like
Harry,
this baby
it's not
get me out of my misery.
Yeah, like those things are like barely cooked, you know.
Half-baked baby, and the mom always looks like just like destroyed, just like.
Yeah, you're just like, man, well, my entire life is different now. Please photograph me.
I have those photos. They're buried under the bed.
We don't look at those photos.
No.
Yeah, we do not discuss.
I make my kids feel bad. I'm like, you did this to me.
See this? This face? This happened.
Get like a photo book and just call it like the guilt book and just like keep it at hand to be like, don't make me pull this out.
Think about this. Same photos, the exact same photo that you're talking about, except both mother and child have on those glasses with like the googly eye things that bounce around on slinkies.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
All you'd need is to think ahead.
That's the solution.
I didn't know the thing I needed, but now I know.
Now you know.
We're live, right? Are we live?
live?
Okay. All right. Let's okay.
Can we play some here? What?
Bring it in.
Let's
What's
talk
up, everybody?
baby photos some more.
I'm gonna get rid of my own self view here because I couldn't stand to look at myself another second here.
All babies
right.
until they're a year old. Sorry, go ahead.
Welcome to the In Crowd. We do, in fact, play D&D 5e when we're not discussing baby photos, and we do it with style. God damn it! Let me add that. We place characters over mechanics and abide by the rule of cool. So if it sounds pretty cool, I'm probably gonna let it slide. I just want to thank our followers and subscribers and subs. Enjoy that sweet new croissant emote. Spam that bad boy. Hot off the presses. And I want to give a super shout out to GamerShark420 and Steph Up Your Life, dope name, for all the gift subs last episode. You're rock stars who do not stop rocking, and we love you. If you want to check out previous episodes, they are on our YouTube, and the link is below. So if you want to catch up or just see some of your favorite moments, you can go ahead and do that. Last but not least, a super brief recap. The party is in the cursed swamp of Horrascarn. They seek a rare flower called the Silvershade Nightingale, and they just defeated a giant mud monster. Let's roll. Okay. The ground is firm beneath your feet, as if the soul of the mud monster evaporated from the earth. From whence you came, the trenched swamp has re-engorged itself, swallowing up any trace of your passing. As the last vestiges of daylight fade, a semicircle of hardened mud opens to the south, leading to a hard-packed path that winds its way past husks of trees long dead and hollow. You're setting out back into Horrascarn after this little fight. You're all covered in disgusting mud, but perhaps riding high on that victory. Is there anything you'd like to say to each other? You did just kind of meet, and then you did just kind of do some crazy stuff. I wanted to give you an opportunity if there's any little scenes we wanted to have here before we move on.
That's some excellent shooting, Tris.
Here, here.
Is this how normal friendships work? Because if so, sign me up.
You hit that thing in the bullock. One of the bullocks. It was impressive.
I've never done that.
I would say busting balls is one of the most rewarding parts of friendship. So we're right on track, really.
Nah, nothing brings you closer than, eviscerating something.
It's true.
Ball looks. Is that we mean we have ball luck?
You know, I didn't think of it that way, but I like where your head's at. Yeah.
I wish I could have taken a token or something, but it kind of disintegrated, sadly.
Yeah, and you don't want it to reconstitute in the middle of the night and like try to crawl down your throat and kill you. You know, best leave that stuff alone.
That's
They do
awful.
that?
Making a note that my plan has been thwarted.
Ah!
All right, so you're heading down this little path, and ahead of you, the road ends. Well, I think that I just want to accentuate the fact that it is getting dark. And as it does get dark, the sounds of the swamp, which have been strangely quiet at times, are now coming back full force. You're hearing it like mutated sounds. There's what could be frogs, though they sound sickly and in pain. There might be the sounds of a coyote if it wasn't just a little too demonic. There's these creatures and these presences that are starting to present themselves as you're passing through this swamp. And the cursed aspect of it, the fact that nothing is alive for the most part, and everything that is dying. Even the trees are hollowed out. The weeds are just husks. You know, it's nasty, is what I'm saying. So before we move on, I just wanted to reiterate that it's nasty.
Hey,
Heard.
Okay.
Right.
Nastiness assessed.
So what's your plan? You trying to get straight to the garden, or you want to try and make camp? Because it is dark.
I'm feeling a little the worse for wear after our trial that plunged us into the depths of despair. So I feel a little emotionally eviscerated as well as physically.
Sure.
I vote for arrest. Anyone else?
if you folks need a relaxing snooze, as it were, myself and the high elf can take. I'm sorry, what was that? Yep, I was gonna tell them that. I'm sorry. It's gonna take about 4 hours of meditation for each of us, so we can keep watch while you take a full, long rest.
Yeah, we can sleep in shifts.
Right.
Chris, what do you
Don't
think?
sleep. I just meditate a lot.
Aye.
I think it's a lovely idea. I also was wondering if you could conjure up a little bit of water so I can, wash some of this off.
I don't even know if well, unfortunately, I am all out of that kind of magic for today, for the juice.
Oh,
But you give me about 4 hours of a nap and I could probably pull that off for you. I mean, unless
Okay.
anyone has any water in their water skin still. I mean,
Yeah, let's
Oh.
use water to clean off the princess.
I don't want to take water that you're
that's
going
right.
to drink.
The princess needs to be clean. Good
No,
call.
I'm not a princess. I've told you that 500 times.
And I take my water skin and I just mash
No,
whatever.
no,
is in there,
no.
Mash of water.
Okay. Triss is soaked. So we'll say that you guys find after this, of course. We'll say that you guys find just a place near this path that you've stumbled onto in which to set up a little camp. You have all the supplies necessary, and I don't think that you would need to use many of them. But I just want to get a quick idea. This is the first time as a party that you're setting up camp. Oh, no, I guess this will be the second, but it'll be the first time that you're in a nasty place. So just give me like a one sentence, like, this is my job that I'm establishing myself as in camp.
Well, I'm just making sure that nobody's killing us when we sleep. Or when
Okay. Getting a feel for the immediate area, maybe
Yeah.
walking around a couple times, establishing a perimeter. Okay, ear trans on security.
I will gather leaves to create, try to create comfortable beds
Okay.
for Naomi and I.
Okay.
I'll get some kindling going.
All right.
I just sit here and watch everything happen.
All right. Very serene Argus begins his meditation. Okay, so the first thing that you realize, Naomi, is that when you are trying to make this fire, they're just first you have a hard time finding anything. The wood that you do find is just a bit rotten and a bit soggy. But you do take note that the mold that is on a lot of these things is that gray, ashen, blighted color. And so it's like the mold is even having trouble surviving in this landscape. And you set out to try and make this fire. Why don't you roll survival for me at disadvantage?
Sure. Good God. uh, okay. Wow. Well, that's a 0.
All right. Was it perchance a critical failure?
It was a 2 and my modifier is -2.
Okay, lucky. Before we move on, I just want to say thanks to Thing for getting a sub. What's up?
Hey.
We see you. We love you.
Hey.
Naomi, you are unable to make a fire. And so as you
Yeah.
and Triss are sitting in these piles of kind of like blighted, soggy leaves that she's gathered, you start to feel that you are getting colder and colder.
Oh man.
I take it, Argus, I was expecting that you're maybe going, you guys are planning to sleep first. The elves are planning to meditate first because you were just chilling and watching everybody.
Well, I mean, it depends on what Iratran would like to do. I can take first watch, or he can. Either way, I'm just enjoying watching the chaos kind of ensue.
I'll take first watch.
Okay,
Go
good
ahead
night.
and take your meditation.
Okay. So Naomi, Triss, you both lay down and try and get some sleep. Argus, you are able to meditate. Here's how it works. If you guys are willing to hang out for 4 hours, Argus will be able to get a short rest. But Triss and Naomi, you find it impossible to sleep. It's cold in a way that feels unnatural. In the same way that those feelings of that horrible emotional experience that Naomi just alluded to came upon you rather quickly, this cold seems to be there almost to get into your bones and keep you from getting comfortable. And it seems as though the swamp, Horuskarn, is working against you and keeping you from getting any rest. Argus, because you don't need to sleep, you can swing a meditation for 4 hours if you'd like. But he's going to be the only one who could manage a short rest.
So this will not constitute a long rest. It'll only be a short rest.
It'll only. How do you only need 4 hours for a long rest?
Yes.
Oh, then yeah, this will be a long rest.
Dang.
It takes all of your focus to maintain this meditative trance because the elements here are working against you too. But I believe you've some experience resting in hospitable environments.
Yeah. I meditated in the desert for years.
So I'm gonna let you get a long rest out of this, but unfortunately, our bard and our rogue will not be able to do the same. Iratran, as you're making your rounds, there are several times where you feel as though. Well, let me just make sure. Okay, there are several times that you feel as though there may be something preparing to ambush you. You prepare, but it never comes. It is very anticlimactic. Several times you feel as though something is right there, but nothing goes to bother you. Horuskarn's mood does the job.
Such a tease.
But at the end of 4 hours, Argus, you feel well. Naomi and Triss, I'm actually going to give you 1 level of exhaustion.
What does that do?
I'm just gonna check my notes here to make sure that there's several levels that you can obtain, but you're only going to get 1 level of exhaustion here. They get worse as it goes, and if you reach the final level, you die. But you've got plenty of time before that happens.
Great.
Tons of time.
I believe first level of exhaustion is going to be a disadvantage on any skill checks. So it won't affect your attacks, but it will affect any skill checks that you have. Okay, so you pack up camp and head back out. It takes a while, and you're walking in the dark for some time. It's unrelenting, the swamp. The sounds follow you. The fear follows you. The cold abates mysteriously almost the moment you make the decision you no longer feel like resting. And then it starts to get hot and humid again.
Classic.
Ahead of you, the road ends in solid darkness. Upon closer inspection, you discover it's a wall. Running your hands on the hard stone surface, despite its composition being multiple stones, there's not a single dip, rut, or pockmark. It's completely smooth. According to the map, you've reached the garden. Argus, as you look up, you can see that the wall stretches about 50 feet. It goes above the canopy of these weird hollow trees, and you can see just barely in the moonlight, there seems to be what is a dense tangle of thorn and briar at the top of the wall. What would you like to do?
Look for a door.
Sure.
Yeah.
You start to circle it. You're actually able to walk around the entirety of the wall. It takes about 10 minutes.
Oh.
And it is in a square shape, but the wall is unchanged. There is no entrance. Roll perception there, Triss, and you're going to be at disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
Six.
Yeah, you make it all the way around the wall and find your friends again, and there was, as far as you could tell, no door.
Well,
Is it a? Oh, could I climb a tree and see if there's a branch that is hanging over the top of the wall, perhaps?
There is no trees that are as tall as the wall, but you are welcome to climb one that is close by to see if it will help you get over.
No, that's not what I wanted.
I do, though. That's what I want to do.
You want to climb the tree?
Absolutely. Trees are my
Sure.
best friends.
Okay,
I'd
you
like
are
to have
not.
a conversation with the tree as we're going too. Like, how long have you been here? Huh? You good? Okay.
Oh, because we've established that you do have an interesting relationship with trees there, Argus. When you start climbing this tree and attempting to make small talk with it, there's nothing. It's strange. It's not even as though the tree is registering as dead. It is registering as an absence. As though it was never there in the way that you can feel trees.
Never been cold-shouldered by an oak before like this.
Why don't you roll acrobatics to get up to the top of the tree?
Oh yeah, I will. Acrobatics. It's a 16.
Okay, you're able to scurry up to the top. It gets you a little bit more than halfway, and when you get to the top and to a branch that's close enough to the wall, you can see that there is indeed briar and thorns they're not coming over the wall. They actually look like they're being grown out of the top of it as a defense. What would you like to do?
That is absolutely the weirdest type of external design that I've ever seen. I'm very disappointed in this. It does nothing for the decor. I'm gonna slide back down the tree and tell everyone what I see regarding the thorns and foliage that's
Okay.
out there.
Sure.
And also explain to them the feeling of how it feels to be cold-shouldered by an oak tree, which
All right.
doesn't feel very good.
I never knew trees could give cold shoulders, let alone be warm.
Well, I've never been cold-shouldered by one before, so it's a first for me too.
Yeah, I'm accustomed to the sea, so
So
I'm.
sad.
Oh yeah, the big
Actually-
water tree that you were talking about, right?
Right.
The sea, the ocean. I still don't get that.
Oh,
Ah.
you have your water. You have your water back, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, this is that same mud. What if you just created water in the middle of it? Could you actually focus it like that? And then the mud will melt away, presumably.
Let me see what I can do about that. That's a really interesting idea. So I'm gonna place my hands on the wall.
We're going to pause right there. Argus, the moment you put your hands on the stone wall and feel how smooth it is, the camera cuts away from this scene and opens as the vast mountainscape of Basamortok has bared its teeth. There are no plants or dirt at this altitude, just sheer granite and jagged edges of rock overlooking long, long falls. And there, a little ways below, you see two red streaks etched across the sky to indicate you are being tracked by at least 2 Blood Oath elves. You bend forward and bear crawl on your hands and toes upward towards the top of the mountain range. Fog drifts along the crest like a massive worm. Your hope is to get lost in there, lose them forever in the mists and wastes of the east. A gap opens between 2 massive plates of rock. It's only 6 feet across, but it's at an incline, which is enough to give you consideration. And that consideration is stay on this side and die, or make the leap.
Oh, I'm jumping. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Roll acrobatics.
I'm an acrobatic guy. I hope this time. 22.
Okay. You fly across and land. You can see that the 2 Blood Oath elves are starting to make their way up towards you. They haven't quite spotted you yet. Would you like to remain hidden?
I can I do a perception check on them, or just see exactly what they're wearing, what they seem to have seen?
Sure. Yeah.
Oop, oop, oop. Hold on, please. Pause. And what do I see? It's another 22.
Okay. You see them clearly. They're making their way up quickly. They seem to be working together, but they are moving in a way that you think they might actually be rivals, as though they're racing to the top of the hill, though they are friends. They're wearing the kind of bare minimum leather armor that you've seen them wear before. One of them is carrying a long bow, the other one a short bow and a spear. Another thing to note, Argus, is that on your arm, where you mark these kills, at this point in your life, there is only one mark.
Good to know. Good to know. Flashback. Seeing where they are, and since we're currently in the fog.
You are, yeah. You've just jumped across, and the fog is starting to settle around you.
I would like to try and utilize my shape water cantrip.
Okay.
To create a puddle of ice on the side that I'm at, utilizing the moisture from the fog.
Okay.
Is that
cool.
Physically possible?
It is to me. Shape water is what I like to refer to as an imagination spell in D&D 5e, where it's only as useful as you make it. And so, yeah, you're able to do that. Do you want to stick around and see if it works?
Oh, no, I'm going to keep moving. I'm just going to get the ear out and find out what happens next.
You head into the fog, and it's a little bit harder going because you just can't quite see as much as you're used to, but you do hear the exertive yell of 2 people as they leap across the gap, and then you hear a secondary reaction as somebody maybe slips and starts to tumble down the rocks, and you can hear them sliding, but at this point, the fog is kind of obscuring your vision. Roll stealth for me.
Oh, that could have been better. That's a 6.
Okay. You can... The fog is doing you some favors, but then you lose your footing and knock some rocks loose, and you can hear one of them say, "I hear him," and start heading your direction. There's a path laid out ahead of you, but it looks to be tough going.
Are there any rocks around that I can currently try to actively hide behind?
Yeah, I think that off the path, it's going to be a little bit difficult. We're going to need another acrobatics check at disadvantage because it's going to be difficult terrain. There's enough bric-a-brac off this path that you think you could hide in.
Bric-a-brac away. Nat 20.
At disadvantage?
And a dirty 20.
Holy shit! Yeah.
It's not good that I'm getting these rolls now, though. Let's be real.
You scamper off of the path and down into these rocks, and you can tell that you'll need to go a little bit further in order to hide. But you get there in time to see one of these elves who have been tracking you pass by where you just were, stop where you kicked the rocks to give away your position, and then continue on the path. For the time being, you seem to be alone. It is noteworthy that you saw two climbing the hill, but only one passed you just now.
I would like to try and sneak up behind him and take him out utilizing my short bow from 10 to 15 feet away.
Okay. I am going to give you the opportunity to roll another stealth check, unless you want to ride on that 6 you rolled earlier.
Are you kidding me? I'm good. Let's go another stealth check. Thank you very much. It's only a 12, so...
Okay, cool. You sneak back towards the path and make your way towards that elf when...
Uh-oh, here it comes.
You hear some rocks behind you get disturbed. And when you turn, you see the second elf who has some scuffed knees and a scuffed elbow, perhaps from slipping on some ice, sneaking up behind you with the spear. And he's done as you just did, where he knocked over some rocks.
Oh, go ahead.
He just says, I'd like this kill. If you don't alert my partner, perhaps this will be a fair fight.
What a coincidence. I would also like this kill in a fair fight. And I'm gonna draw my sickle.
All right. Roll initiative.
Hell yeah, let's go. 19.
I had a 17 and I was feeling good too.
Not no more.
It is your move first.
Awesome. I am gonna sickle this guy.
Roll to attack.
Yes. Oh, it's only 12.
Okay, that is not going to do it. He deflects your sickle with his spear and then gets a 17 to hit.
Yep, that hits. Oh boy.
He jabs you with the spear in the side, dealing only 3 damage.
Okay, only.
But as you cry out, you hear the second elf come back around. He's not got a great initiative roll. He will be last, but we're going to slot him in right here. And he yells, much to your surprise, Argus, "That's my kill!" and charges forward, tackling the elf who is attacking you. It seems as though they want the opportunity to claim a trophy. Roll, I think, just a dex save, Argus. It's not great territory that you're in, and they are now fighting each other, and they just yank the spear out of your side.
Dex save is a 6.
Okay. As that happens, you go tumbling over into that rough terrain and start to fall down the mountain. There's a second when you think you're going to catch yourself, but then all of the rubble seems to leave, and the hill that you're now sliding down is very slick. Almost perfectly so, as though hewn by hands, not nature. And then you fall. You are going to take some fall damage.
Oh.
That is going to be 3 as you crash down into the bottom of a ravine. There are walls on either side of you. It looks like maybe this was, it could have been hundreds of years ago, if not thousands. At some point, a channel that was cut to facilitate water that has not been in this region for a very long time. The wall looks like it was molded and formed by thousands of hands for 100 years. The minor indents and swoops in the texture of the wall couldn't possibly be natural. and yet they've been weathered and smoothed to a fine surface.
I am feeling a little bit in pain,
Mm-hmm.
and I am going to cast Cure Wounds
Okay.
on my poor little belly that has been stabbed by a spear.
Okay. Roll your health. But being as you are in Bossum Mortok, when the spell starts to curl off of your fingers and knit your flesh back together, there is a black smoke which starts to rise out of the ground. How much health do you get back?
I get 6 points back.
Okay. It's just as this... I think this one looks like a scorpion that is starting to dig itself out of the ground, a scorpion that would be the size of a large dog. It is just as it is coming out of the ground that an arrow flies over your shoulder and pierces into this beast, dispelling the smoke before it has time to form completely. When you turn around, you can see that there is a goblinoid figure trapped under a rock. One of his legs is crushed, but he's laying there with a bow and has just loosed an arrow to save you from this monster.
I look at him very confused and go, "Hi, I'm Argus."
Hi,
Hello.
I'm in a lot of pain.
I can tell that. Would you like some assistance?
Yes, I think that I could knock another arrow here if you've a spell slot to spare.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, of course. I would like to go over and examine the poor crushed goblin.
Sure. It's a different kind of creature than you've ever seen. I say goblinoid because it does resemble some of the goblin races, but this fellow is a bit taller and a bit lankier with an oddly large head. But the eyes are almost human and the smile is friendly. There is a rock. You can imagine as you're looking around, there are several in this ravine that must have fallen from above. And he says, when I fell, I almost made it out clean, but this rock landed atop my leg.
Let me see if I can get that rock off your leg.
Sure.
I would like to assist him in trying to remove it. Or
yeah, it's not crazy big, and with the both of you trying, you are able to roll it off. It takes a little bit of time, and you can actually hear that the fighting above you has stopped, and there's a brief conversation between the two elves who are too far up this wall and lost in the fog. You hear them discussing splitting up and looking for you.
Strange,
because
you
it'll
have
be
a very oddly shaped head.
he
Not like the
says,
goblin that I know.
thanks, I'm not a goblin.
Well, that would make sense because you don't look like a goblin. You're like goblin light.
He chuckles and then rolls up his pants to say, like, my leg is eviscerated.
Yeah, sure. And I'm totally gonna. If you're ready with another arrow, then
He knocks one.
I'm also gonna cast Cure Wounds on his eviscerated leg and see if I can put it back in place.
Sure. How much health you got to give?
Oh, I got all of it to give. I'm gonna give him 9 points.
Excellent.
Jeez, drop
The
it.
wound knits itself back together. You can see that the bones do start to come back, but they heal imperfectly. He'll probably have a limp, but the bleeding has stopped and he's no longer in as much pain. And as you let the spell go and the black smoke curls, he waits just long enough for the outline of the creature to form before letting go and dispersing it.
You're an amazing shot. Well done. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of pat him on the head. Good job. Well done. How is it that you've come to be here? Personally, I'm being chased by elves the Blood Oath, but I'm assuming your story is a little bit different.
He pauses at the Blood Oath comment and looks to you. You can tell he wants to ask, but he doesn't say anything.
It's a long story.
I understand. I hunt in these lands. There is not much to find other than the shadow creatures, but there are ways to survive.
Have you ever eaten elf before?
I have not.
Would you like
Have
to try?
you?
Not me, but want to try?
I suppose. I'm not in fighting shape, and we may have some trouble getting out of this ravine.
Oh, that's okay. I'm sure they're gonna find a way down to us somehow or another. Let us stick together, and just if you feel like eating tonight, I'm sure we can work on that.
Okay. How do you want to set out? There's really only two directions because the walls are quite tight. It's like you're in a hallway and they stretch up rather tall.
Would you, my friend who still has no name, happen to know what's in that direction? The one that you seem to have come down.
There is a long stretch in either direction of this ravine. It used to carry water from one place to the next, though water has not been in this land for as long as I've been alive. I believe our only option is to go up.
Well then, do you happen to have any ideas of a way to go up? Kind of.
He says, I do. And he pulls out a water skin from his pack, but it's deflated. And he uncorks it and starts to pour it on the wall, but there just isn't much water. There's only a dribble. And he says, I'm afraid I don't care for our chances if we are out of water, and if I only had a little more, I might be able to show you the ways of my people.
Well, unfortunately, at this point right now, I could do something about that, but I am fresh out of that ability.
Okay.
Having healed you and having healed myself, I'm feeling a little bit, if you give me a few hours to meditate.
He says we have nowhere else to be.
If you would like to stand watch and just make sure that I can meditate for a little bit of time, I might be able to conjure up some water for you.
I'm in your debt, Argus. I will consider myself so until I help you out of this ravine, and then if you find it fair, we will be even and can part ways.
I understand. Again, if you feel like eating elf, you can help me with that. Just saying. So I'm going to meditate. By the way that I meditate, it sounds like I'm snoring, but it's actually deep breathing.
Okay. He's only mildly annoyed by that. 4 hours pass. It is very hot, and both of you are very thirsty by the time you are through meditating, but he honors the silence and the sanctity of it and stands by with an arrow. You're kind of in opposite shadows of this ravine, but after 4 hours, you are after a long rest, and you have your spell slots back.
Well, my wonderful golem-like friend, my question to you is, where would you like the water? Oh, let's do this first, and I'm going to fill up both of our. I'm going to prepare to cast Create Water.
Sure. Just like before, he prepares an arrow and is ready to strike down these beasts. With these spells you're learning, Create Water in this environment is, a very powerful ability, but the magic required is not substantial. Same with the basic Cure Wounds spell. It seems that the creature's size and danger is dependent on the magic used to summon them. And so with these smaller spells, he's able to just kind of plunk arrows into any of the little beasts that pop up.
Where would you like me to place the water at?
After you fill the skins, he shows you that by using the water to run it along the walls, he's able to find little divots and dips in them. And so roll acrobatics with advantage.
Acrobatics with advantage. First one's a 15.
Okay.
Not bad. And second one's a 10. So
okay. I think the 15 is going to be just fine. Using this style, where you're at right now, it just takes him a little bit of time to tell you that this isn't the right place. And he starts leading you down the ravine, testing it with the water. kind of finding a path the way that you would see somebody kind of choosing a rock climbing path for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And just using this water, he's able to help you, and the two of you kind of like Spider-Man climb out of the ravine. And as you reach the top and he holds out his hand for you to grab, when you grab it, we are snapped right back. And Argus, the rest of you see that Argus has his hands on the wall and has been talking to himself for a moment.
That would be exactly one of the things with the handholds. Not really a goblin. Maybe kind of a goblin. Possibly a goblin. Not really sure.
Argus,
Yes.
who are you talking to?
Nobody. Shh. You keep your mouth shut.
See,
No.
when you do that, it makes me feel like you're not telling us the truth.
Oh, I'm totally telling you the truth. I'm telling the truth. Really.
Uh-huh. Okay, okay. We can circle back to this. You know, I don't want to stress you out, but okay, yeah. We'll circle back. Circle back.
Okay, okay. I am going to... I would like to first try to... I'm going to take the exact same style that was done with my little goblin-y friend, and I'm going to take a sheen of water, like utilizing shape water from my water skin, and coat it over the place where I was going to place my hands at to see if any of the mud begins to give way or if there's any kind of handholds that start to come out of it.
Oh, it should be noted too that now that you're this close, it's not mud. It's stone. It's just it's impossibly smooth stone. You can see that it is composed of different bricks of this dark stone, but there's just no gaps. It's just so smooth. You're able to splash it with water. It doesn't give kind of like when he first showed you in the ravine, there isn't a way up right here.
I'm gonna start doing the circling around it, humming to myself. I'm like, like rubbing
No
my
problem.
hands all over the wall, like
Okay,
almost
Argus.
ritualistically, but not.
Argus kind of Sia music videos around the wall, and everybody roll a perception check. Triss, Naomi, you're at disadvantage because of exhaustion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see.
5.
Why don't you do it?
Okay, 11 for me.
I'm supposed to just click it, and it's not letting me do this. My computer may have crashed. Give me a second to reset this.
What's your bonus? Do you know?
+4.
I'm gonna roll it for you while you fix your tech.
I appreciate it.
Okay, that is going to be an 18 for Iritran.
All right.
How much for you, Argus?
21.
Jeez.
Got that plus.
Okay, so as Argus is Sia-ing around, he actually makes a line of water around the entirety of this place. These walls ain't going to be as forgiving as those unforgiving walls in the desert. But with both Iritran and Argus's perception check, what you do notice is that while the walls are completely smooth and level, the ground is not. As Argus rounds the bend, you see that the water he's spreading is starting to collect at the crease and run as though towards something.
All right. Well, let's follow the sea.
Okay.
Not
Yeah,
done
the
yet.
water actually brings you to what you can dig out of the dirt and the mud that is around the walls to be a little clam-shaped lid. And when you pop it open, you find a drain.
A drain.
A drain. It is
Big enough.
quite small.
Oh.
They're
A word?
Small, you say?
Naomi, it does look like it might be big enough for you to get inside, though it probably won't be big enough for you to bring anything with you.
Okay. Okay, sure. So I'll unpack a little. Not the marbles, but everything else I can leave behind.
Okay. You like squirrel cheek them?
We have oil.
Yeah.
Let's grease up this gnome.
Yeah, you can grease up Naomi if you want to.
Grease up the gnome.
I'm sure that you got some like cooking oil.
Oh.
Yeah, that. I carry
Okay.
that all the time.
I want to
Okay.
grease up the gnome.
Okay.
Rub her down.
We're gonna give you advantage on your first check because you are in fact covered in grease. Okay, so Naomi, you're going into this drain. It does look like it is headed towards the other side of the wall. This clam-shaped lid was hidden, but the water gave it away. And you can see that the water is running into it and it is continuing down into the drain.
Okay. Great.
You going in?
You want me to roll? Oh yeah, we're going
Yeah,
in.
give me just a basic dex kind of guideline here, and you're
Good
gonna
luck.
roll
We're all
advantage.
counting on you.
Okay. Well,
We got a hype train going right now, by the way, everybody. Hype train.
Yay! Thank you.
Hype up this greased up gnome. Here we go.
Hype up this greased up gnome.
Greased up gnome.
Okay.
For that,
Well,
you have to show up just a greased up gnome.
all right. Well, we keep the hype going with the 23.
Yeah.
Boom.
You watch as this greased up gnome pops into the drain and disappears.
Before I go in, I say, come out to the garden. We'll get together, have a few laughs.
Gamer Shark, we also want to give you a shout out for that gift sub. Thank you. You're killing it. All right. And thanks for the bits. All right, Naomi, you're in the drain. It is like most of Horroscarn, nasty. It is difficult for you to move around in here. It is made out of metal and some stone, and the metal seems to be rusted and tetanus full, so you are having to wiggle around, but you rolled a 23, and so you are able to do that. You go for a while as you start to feel yourself get deeper and deeper into this. Now, you're not going down. It seems as though you are moving forward towards the other side of the wall, but there is no immediate exit. And you eventually come to a T-juncture without any problem because you rolled so well. And there is a pipe which goes left and a pipe which goes right. Which direction would you like to go?
I will go left.
Okay.
Oh god.
You start heading left. I'm going to make a little note here. You start heading left. And again, there is no immediate exit. But after a while, you do start to hear a little bit of scrabbling around in the pipe ahead of you.
Okay. How far ahead can I see?
You can't see very far because you are... Oh, do gnomes have dark vision?
Yeah, probably, right? What do I know?
I feel like...
Hey.
Astrid, you just hooked us up with 5 gift subs. Thank you very
Ooh.
much. Yeah, so with a gnome, you do have dark vision. So you're able to see. You can see that there is what must be like the pipe kind of like dog legs up ahead. And at that corner, there is a mouse.
Ooh. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Do you need to activate anything to talk to them, or can you just talk to them?
I don't know. I think we just
You can just talk
vibe,
to them.
You know? Yeah.
Okay. After the bird thing, yeah, I should have known. Okay. The mouse looks up and is a little frightened and says, "Yeah."
I'm so sorry to bother you. I'm just looking for the other end, the door, the door. Daylight?
You in the wrong spot. Are you stuck?
No. I can wiggle. I shift a little boogie back and forth to show the mouse that I can still move a little.
Okay, look, sister, I don't really have time to fix your problems. I got plenty of my own, okay?
Yeah, I totally understand. I don't mean to, put any emotional labor on you here. It's just if you know the way out, that's all I need to know. I'm really not stuck. See, look.
That's fine. Look, I don't have time for this. I'm actually running late. I gotta go. Okay, I gotta get out of here. I let's get a thing from chat for like could it be like a non-violent civil lawsuit, a type of non-violent civil lawsuit?
What, a traffic court or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for my eyes in the sky here to let me know what chat has to say about this.
Okay.
Chat, if we could get a type of non-violent civil lawsuit that this mouse is about to talk about.
Oh my god.
I gotta get out of here. I can't do it. I can't do it at all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So the mouse says, "Look, I gotta go to the the extra small claims court property dispute, and I just don't have time to be fixing you. Okay, I just found out that my lawyer got stuck in a rat trap.
Oh
so
no.
I don't even have representation.
You're gonna go represent yourself?
I don't have a choice.
Well, that's extremely ill advised. That's not advisable almost ever. You should never represent yourself.
What do you know?
Well, look, I'll come with you, and then maybe after we get your situation sorted out, we can help me. We can do a little, tit for tat kind of thing.
Oh yeah, you know how to get people out of trouble. You know law stuff.
Yes, I certainly do.
Perfect. Yeah.
I took a correspondence course, and I did very well. And everyone in my family says I'm the best at arguing. So, let's go.
Oh yeah, sure. You help me with this. You get me off the hook, and I'll take you wherever you need to go. My family's lived in these tunnels for generations. I know my way around.
Oh, great. And nothing is more gratifying than helping people that have lived in an area for so long, and they're just being oppressed, and your tunnel's being gentrified, and it's completely unjust. And we will get you everything that you deserve and more. Let's go.
Okay. And so the mouse turns around and says, my name's Meeples, by the way.
Meeples, it's a pleasure. My name is Naomi, and as your attorney, let me assure you that you have not misplaced your faith in me, and we're gonna get this sorted out. Let's go.
Okay. Yeah. So Meeples starts taking you through the tunnels, and because you're not stuck and you rolled well and you're greased up, she actually turns around and she says, "You smell that? I smell. What is that? Lard?"
Yeah, or something. It was sort of a tunnel technique. It's highly regarded actually in courtrooms. It's very common practice. Really ingratiates you with the jury situation. Gives them something to think about.
Wow, you're so knowledgeable. What serendipity that I'd run into a lawyer gnome in this tunnel.
I know, isn't it a small world? It's just the darndest thing.
She stops for a second and she says, "I'm gonna let that slide because you're a gnome, but that small world shit ain't gonna fly down here."
Thank you for the correction. I will adjust my language.
Okay, so Meeples takes you through, and the drainage system down here is intense. You can see that it is set up to be what must be some kind of like arcane sprinkler system that is long since defunct.
Oh wow.
It's just obvious that there's multiple offshoots that lead to like these old rusted out generators of some kind that you have arcane symbols on them. But Meeples bypasses all of this, saving you from getting lost in these very nasty tunnels until you come to what is a much larger section. The tube actually dips a little bit. It descends for the first time. For the most part, it's been level. And then opens up into what is kind of like an underground cistern, if I'm using that word correctly, where it's just like a metal tank that's been sunk into the ground. And you can see that there's pipes along the sides. And already there's other mice that are beginning to like file in from different places and take their spots on all these pipes. And they are kind of looking at you weird, but Meeples says like, "It's my lawyer. It's my lawyer. It's okay." And one of them's like, "Oh, I heard Richard got stuck in a rat trap." She's like, "I can't really think about that." And so these mice just kind of file in to hear this trial. And you're led. You have to kind of like sit cross-legged in the middle of all this. You're a giant to these mice. But yeah, this court of mice appears around you. And a rat actually comes out. Quite big, quite plump, and and says, "Meeples, sir. Who's this?" And points to you.
I rise. Your Honor, I will be.
No, no. Prosecution. Name's Clythe.
Oh, my mistake. Well, I stick out my hand, shake his little claw.
He does.
Okay. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm here in defense of my client, Meeples, and we're gonna have an interesting afternoon. Best of luck.
Yeah, all right. Sounds great. Okay. I'm just gonna say this to my little eyes in the skies. Just give me a little bit more on that, please.
I shuffle my papers.
Okay. So there's a moment where a bailiff rat says, "All rise," and all of the mice rise, and you are able to just barely lift off of your tuchus. And another ancient albino guinea pig wearing a little powdered wig and some like dish rag robes enters in, and the bailiff rat says, "The Honorable Guinea Von Tree. People, Clythe versus Meeples is now in session." And the judge, Guinea Von Tree, Your Honor to you, slaps the gavel, which is a little toothpick with an olive pit wedged onto the top of it.
Oh.
So here's what's up. We're not going to go through this entire court proceedings, but what I'd like you to do is Meeples pulls you aside and says, "Naomi, here's what happened. I was speaking to a friend about another case that I was involved with as another."
Okay, don't tell me any more about that.
Okay,
Don't,
sorry.
Yeah.
But regardless, some things were taken out of context, and Clythe is suing me for defamation because he says that I put his reputation and therefore his practice at stake here. And so what I'm trying to do is just really establish myself as somebody who wouldn't go around saying bad things. You know, I feel like if we could just present my character as honorable, he won't have any ground to stand on.
All right. Now, Meeples, I'm just going to ask you this once. Who did you say this to?
Well, I said it to my lawyer, Richard, who's, rest his soul, snapped in a rat trap.
Wow. Okay. So there's no other record of you saying this. It's just hearsay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Must
great.
be.
Tell me anything more. I'm very sorry for your loss, by the way. I know how difficult it is to lose a close relationship like the client attorney. You know, that's intense. So
Look,
I feel for you.
now that you're talking about it, Naomi, I think that you're right. I mean, Richard wouldn't have said anything because of attorney-client privilege, and how would Clythe have heard? He shouldn't have been able to hear anything.
Well, Meeples, that's what I intend to prove. Let's go.
Okay. So the judge asks for opening statements.
Great. Your Honor, rodents and gentle mice of the jury. We are here today for a reason that we all can understand. The simple fact of our self-worth. For how can we move about this dangerous world feeling that our character, our essence, our very soul is not being held in high regard by the people we respect, by the people we trust, by the people on whom we rely to make a living? Ladies and gentlemen, we are here today for the preservation of character, the preservation of integrity, the preservation of community. Look at my client. Point over at Meeples.
She's just there, single tear, just sniveling.
Look at that. This mouse could be having a productive day. This mouse could be a member of society that uplifts their community. Instead, they are here being accused, being defamed themselves. We are here to clear this good mouse's conscience, to clear their name so they can return to the world knowing that they have value. Thank you, Your Honor.
There's actually applause from all the mice, and Judge Von Tree slaps the olive pit gavel several times and says, "Order! Order!" And then he gestures to Clythe, who stands up and says, "It's hard being a rat." Am I right? There's a little like agreement in the audience. It's hard enough being a rat. Got a bad reputation. Got a short stature. Got to root around in garbage for our food. Am I right? There's a little bit more. Huzz. And he says, I worked my whole life, 2.5 years, towards creating this practice. I've sacrificed everything. All 90 of my brothers and sisters have gone on to enjoy the carefree life of scavenging and picking through, but I have to pick through the remnants of our society and help prop up this legal system we're just clinging to with our splintered fingernails. And I can't do that if one of my own kind. And he points over to Meeples, and again we see another tear. Is running around telling others about it. How I'm corrupt, take bribes, use single-use plastic at the office instead of recyclable material. I know. We're transitioning. But I need you to look into your little rat hearts. And there's several mice and guinea pigs in the audience who take offense to this remark. And he says, I'm sorry. Your rodent hearts. And realize that if we don't protect each other, nobody else is. And he walks away. And there's a little bit of a hubbub. he goes through, calls several witnesses. Nobody seems to know anything. And then there's time in which Meeples tells you that she doesn't have anybody to tell because she has, in fact, been silent. And you have an opportunity to make a closing statement. This time, Clythe goes first, but his closing argument's very much the same, trying to convince everyone to protect each other. But you will have one more opportunity here, Naomi, to make your closing argument in defense of Meeples. It seems the jury's split. It could go either way. Stakes are pretty high. Meeples does lean over to you and say, now, I know that it's a stressful situation and you don't need any added tension, but you should know that the penalty is death by owl.
Meeples, Jesus. Oh my God, it's brutal down here. All right, okay, get it together, okay? Just pull it together. We're gonna get through this, okay? Just don't think about the owl. Do not think about the owl. God, freaking rodents. Okay. Stand up. And is there a jury or is it just the judge?
There's a jury.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a couple rats, couple mice, one other guinea pig.
Great. Okay. I pace meaningfully a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies and gentlemen, I must confess that I feel distressed. I feel fear for the well-being of a rodent in this room. I feel concern for their sense of self, for their position in the world. And I confess it's unusual, but the rodent for whom I fear the most is not my client, Meeples. I fear for Clythe. For what have
There's a gasp.
what have we heard from Clythe except that they consider their position as a rat in this world to be something less than? Compared to what, I might ask? To whom are you comparing your life, Clythe? There are wonderful and productive and happy rats that you could draw inspiration from. But instead, you are dissatisfied. You hold discontent in your heart. And Clythe, it's eating you up, man. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I posit to you that the only crime being committed here is the crime of projection. That's right. Clythe over here is projecting all of his insecurities onto my client Meeples. It is specious and it is unfair. And I testify that the only outcome of this trial should be a good, solid round of therapy for Clythe.
There's another little bit of applause, but again, the room seems split. Judge Von Tree smacks the olive and says he calls for a short recess so that the jury will have time to deliberate before they make their decision. And Naomi, you're sitting there with Meeples as the jury files out. And Clythe is sitting at the other small table made out of a matchbox, scowling at you. And Meeples looks at you and puts a hand on your leg and says, look, I realize we only just met and it was by happenstance in a sewer and you were all greased up and I was out of sorts. But I just want to let you know that I appreciate what you did for me. And if I have to get fed to an owl tonight, it's not your fault, Naomi. And we cut to the wall outside where the party is gathered around the drain. You actually hear Naomi for a while squishing through in her greased up state. And then there's silence as she gets too far away. And then for a little while, you could almost swear you hear squeaking, a lot of it. But that is faint. The three of you, it's starting to get cold again as rest inevitably crosses the mind of Triss, who is exhausted. you got a sec. Naomi's gone. She's in the tubes. You haven't seen her for a minute. How you want to pass the time?
Well, she's dead.
No, I don't think so. She's pretty hardy.
No, I agree. I think she might be dead.
Oh. Well, don't you have some kind of tracking magic or something?
Not that kind of elf. Come on.
You can just do everything. Get out of here, right?
What's the over under on her being in the defendant's corner in a mouse court right now? because that could actually happen too. I mean, it's not the weirdest thing that's happened.
That would be pretty weird, though.
That would be pretty weird. Yeah. Triss, how are you feeling? Are you doing all right? You look tired.
I'm a little bit exhausted. Would it be all right if I lay down just for a second?
Would
I
you
give her my bedroll. Here you go, Your Majesty.
fit for a princess?
Not a princess. I'm a devilish rogue. Get it right. And but thank you for the bedroll. And I lay it down next to the wall and just kind of cozy up to it.
Okay, cool.
I whisper to your trend, princess.
She just left her tiara at home.
Yeah, didn't want it to get messy in the swamp.
Am I asleep? I'm asleep, right? I don't hear this.
You actually roll a Constitution check at disadvantage.
It's going to be awful. 6.
You are not asleep. It seems like it will take a force of body and mind to be able to knock yourself out in this environment. Subtle winds rustle the husk reeds around you as you try to sleep, Triss. A bird caws someplace far away, perhaps our friend Surefire the Destructor, a blight-covered raven, who we remember from last episode. You're laying there, Triss, looking up the wall. You said you're snuggled up against it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've just got this look. I mean, it's 50 feet tall. And the moon is just reflecting off of it enough that you get a sense of it stretching up and above you. And as you're listening to the birds caw in the distance, you kind of have this feeling that if you only had wings, you could just fly right over. And kind of on that thought, you do hear what sounds to be wings. Yeah, I mean, well, everybody would hear this. It's a strange sound. You can feel, or you can hear the air being displaced, but it's a strange sound. Roll perception. Everybody can roll perception. Triss, you're still at disadvantage because you're sleepy.
19.
Okay.
Oh, and I rolled a natural 20. Oh, I still got 16 though.
Okay. Irritrans will fly. 19. You can see as you're looking up towards the direction of this, there is a shape starting to come into the moonlight there. And everybody roll for initiative.
Yeah, it's about that time.
Okay.
Am I still at disadvantage?
Not on initiative, no. It'll only be for skill checks.
All right, 13.
22.
Jeez.
18.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. So high.
Okay, yeah. What did you roll, Triss?
13.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so you can see that there is a large shape coming, and as it does, this feeling of... It's like that cocktail of like remorse, shame, guilt, like all of these things that you were feeling when you were being sucked down into the muck of the swamp. It's as this thing is approaching, you get this overwhelming feeling of dread. And so when it flies near enough for you to see that its eyes, which are large and compound, though nearly hollowed out are burning red in the same way that you have seen some of the chaos beasts. This one has that sickly yellow tinge, kind of like the mud monsters, almost as though Hariskarn has its own flavor of chaos monster. But what you see above you
That's not nice.
is a very large moth. It is a huge creature, so it is gigantic. And that sound that you heard of air being displaced is augmented by this creaking of its wings, because its body is a mottled black and brown exoskeleton that's hard as boiled leather. It has giant papery wings spread out from its back, but they're ripped and draping around the skeletal outline. Its exoskeleton seems to be hollow, and it is now circling above you, and there is a powder drifting off of its wings, and as it starts to fall on your arms and head, that feeling of remorse and dread intensifies. Iratran, start us off.
I don't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and knock my longbow and shoot it right in its multiple eyes.
All right, roll to attack.
I really like shooting for the eyes.
That's fair.
10. Ew.
You miss.
Yeah.
The arrow actually passes through one of the hollow sections of its exoskeleton and just flies through the gap, hitting nothing.
All right. But to be fair, I technically hit it. If there was something in it,
You tell yourself that, dude.
I'm feeling good about it.
Is there anything else you want to do? It's probably 20 feet above you, circling, and you've used your action to shoot, but you do still have a movement.
I am going to... I'm going to hide under a tree and try and see if I can get beyond where all that... what is it that comes off of moths? Moth dust? Anyway, I'm going to get
like powder.
Yeah, I'm going to get out
powder.
of the moth dust under a tree as best I can.
Okay. Yeah, you run under a tree. The trees are encroaching on the wall. There's just a small area between them and the wall. And so you're able to get underneath that canopy, which is sparse, but the powder is lessened as you're under there. You feel slightly better, though not great. Which brings us to Argus.
I'm gonna I am gonna short bow this guy. I'm gonna basically follow exactly what Iratran did.
Fire away.
Firing. It is a 23.
That's going to hit. Roll for damage.
It's 5 points of damage.
Okay. The arrow, where'd you shoot it? Tell me what it looks like.
I was going for the eyes too, compound eyes.
Okay, yeah. You hit it, and you actually see as the arrow plunges in and sticks home, some of the lenses flake away, and when they hit the ground, they just explode into that black smoke that you've seen before.
And I go, ha ha! And then I run and hide.
Okay. Triss.
Well, I'm looking at it and looking at the wall, and I'm wondering, do we ride it over the wall? So I would like to flank it and use a rope to lasso it and try to ride it.
Okay. It'll be easy to flank. Once Argus hits it with the arrow, it has changed from a lazy circle to start to glide towards him. You got a rope. It's going to just be... We'll just do dex.
It's dex, not animal handling. All right.
Animal handling would be if you could get onto this sucker.
All right. And I'm at disadvantage still, yes?
You are not. This is going to count as an attack, but instead of getting your proficiency bonus, since we just have a rope that you're using, you're just going to add dex.
All right, it's an 18.
Okay, that's going to do it.
Yes!
You are able to throw this rope up onto the moth. Where would you be trying to rope it? It's got several legs, several feelers, wings.
Does it have a neck attached to its little moth head?
I mean, it's got what my friends and I used to say dolphins and whales have, which is like a head body where their body just kind of comes out of, or their head just kind of comes out of their body. So there's no like neck, but there's that space.
I don't want to impede its view, so maybe just around its body, like something that seems really solid. So not a wing, because that feels like it would maybe like rip.
Sure. Yeah. The wings do look ragged.
Right.
You rope the moth. I'm gonna need you to make a strength check.
Ooh.
Athletics, if you prefer.
Yes, please. Oh no, that's also a 0. Never mind. Oh, it's a 10.
Okay, let's make this fair.
No.
The moth continues on towards Argus, and Triss, you rope it and have a moment of celebration before your feet start sliding through the dirt. And it isn't long before you lift off into the air. You're only holding onto the rope, so you're not tangled or anything. But you are now a couple feet off the ground as the moth seems to be unimpeded by your throw and is heading towards Argus. Argus,
Yes.
At my feet.
I'm going to need you to make a okay, it can be whatever you prefer.
Okay.
Athletics or acrobatics, DC 15 save.
Athletics or acrobatics? It's gonna probably be acrobatics. DC 15.
Mm-hmm.
It's a crit fail.
Okay. Irachan, where did you go? Oh, sorry, no. Argus, you said that after you shot the moth, you ran to hide as well. Where would you have gone?
Oh,
Would you have followed Irachan?
No, different tree.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you had a crit fail, you said?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, excellent. The moth dives out of the ground. Your feet return to the ground, Triss, as it does. And you see it extend its wings forward and drop out of the sky and smash into the ground around Argus. Argus, you are now in what's called a skeletal prison. The wing bones have all, they're exoskeleton, but they are bony. They are now around you, forming a cage that you are trapped in. And you are going to take 1d4 psychic damage to start. That's going to be a 3 psychic damage for you, Argus. Any damage you sustain from your flashback does not carry forward into this moment.
Copy that.
And you are now trapped in a skeletal cage. The moth is still attached to its wings, but you can see that it's starting to shimmy at the joints where they connect, and it's writhing above you. And it seems as though this powder is what's causing this psychic stuff. Being this close inside the cage is just starting to break your brain, Argus. Which brings us back around to Eartran.
Well, she's still got it roped, right?
She does.
Awesome sauce. I'm gonna go ahead and run around and help her and grab that rope. We're gonna wrangle it.
Okay. What would you like to do? Because you can get the rope. The moth is preoccupied. So what is your intention?
We're gonna I'm gonna jump on top of it and then basically like lasso it as if we're about to ride it.
Okay. Yeah. I think this is just going to be an acrobatics check at advantage, so you can roll twice and take the better because it's currently stuck into the ground.
Okay. Oh wait, like it's skeleton, like its exoskeletons like actually dug into the ground.
The wings are.
Oh, okay.
To create that cage.
Oh, cool.
That's the sound it made too.
That's cool. It's gonna give me like a little ramp to run up.
Mm-hmm. You get advantage here.
All right. First one's 18. Second one, give me advantage. 12. Let's go ahead and do that 18.
Okay, you got it. So you jump up and you're able to, if you'd like to use your action because you rolled well, you can just lasso this thing. Once you hop on and sit down, Iratran, you feel the powder fluff up into your face and you take 4 psychic damage for being on top of this thing, but you are now officially riding the moth. Which brings us to Argus. Yeah. Argus, you are going to take Actually, we'll do it on the moth's turn. At the moth's turn, you will be continuing to take damage if you do not free yourself, but you are able to attempt to wiggle out if you'd like, or break through.
I would like to see, is there, so it is currently physically holding me, or is it a trap above and around me?
It's a trap above and around you.
Okay, is there any space near the top of it that I would potentially be able to fit through? Is there any space? Okay,
Yes.
then I'm going to cast jump upon myself.
Okay.
And jump up and through the hole that is in the top that is being shimmied through.
Okay. I'm going to give you an option here.
Okay.
Because there are mechanics built around you being able to attempt an escape. So if you don't burn a spell slot, you would just be trying to make a DC 16 dex check. If you want to burn your spell slot, you can do it at advantage. So I will give you a little bonus for using your spell slot, but if you want to save it, it's unnecessary.
You know what? For this first time, I'm gonna try and save it. I do not have enough spell slots to make that a thing.
Okay.
Let's see if I can just do it. Dex DC 16, you said?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. That didn't work at all. That's a 7.
Okay. You are still trapped inside the cage. Tell us what it looks like when you try to escape.
So, because I've been powdered and I'm a little bit disoriented, I look at the hole in the top and I go, yeah, and I try to jump out, not realizing that right above my head is part of the wing, so just bang my head right to the top of the wing and just drop back down.
Okay.
Very confused. Like, what just happened?
When you do hit your head on the top of the wing, you can hear this, like, it's almost like wet fabric ripping as the moth continues to shimmy on top of the cage. Triss.
I would like, if I could, to use animal handling to calm it down and get through to it.
I'll save you the trouble. What you've seen with any of these chaos beasts, anything that has these glowing eyes, there is nothing there for you to get through to. This seems to be a manifestation of a dark form of magic. I only say that because I don't want you to blow your turn on like an impossible check or something.
All right,
like
so it wasn't an like a moth that ended up getting corrupted or whatever.
No, probably not. I mean, like, weird stuff is happening in the swamp. I mean, like, the mud monsters were made out of mud, but it seemed to have been a form of bad magic taking things near it and turning it into a creature.
Right. Well, I look at Iratran and he looks like, he's got things handled on top of it. So I'm going to investigate and try to break out Argus.
Okay, yeah,
from
cool.
the cage.
Here's what's up. If multiple targets are working towards it, you got to be making it with advantage. So, Triss, you run over to the cage. I'm gonna let you roll twice to try and help Argus out.
All right. What do I roll?
You're gonna roll. This would just be, I think.
I'm good at locks.
There isn't one on this, unfortunately. This is just gonna be a strength check.
All right. 11. Oh, wait. Do I get advantage?
You get advantage. As Argus is trying to help you with this.
11.
Oh.
Okay. You do have some movement left. Would you like to stay on top of this cage here, or do you want to move?
I think I'll jump up with Argus, and hopefully we can like yank the moth back.
Jump up with Iratran?
Or I mean, with Iratran.
Okay.
Not all elves look alike.
Okay.
I know. Why does that always happen? Jeez.
Maybe if you stop calling me princess, I wouldn't get your names mixed up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Wags, just want to give you a shout out. Thank you so much for hitting us with 5 gift subs. Everybody, Wags rocks.
Wags rocks.
Wags rocks.
Okay. Triss, you hop up behind Iratran, and you both are now, you both look striking as you're mounted atop this evil beast. Everybody takes 5 psychic damage. When Triss hops up onto the mouth, another puff of powder comes out and hits all of you.
Oh no. Okay.
It is at that moment that you hear that sound of ripping fabric again as the moth pulls itself free from its wings, ripping the exoskeleton apart and flopping over onto the ground. This leaves the skeletal cage in place, Argus. So you are still trapped within. However, Iratran, Triss, please make a athletics check. It's not going to be tough. It's not going to be tough. We're going to see DC 12.
18.
Perfect.
14.
Okay, perfect. As the moth, slumps off and starts to wriggle around on the ground, both of you are able to keep a hold of that rope and stay on its back. It is going to try and attack you. You can see that it's writhing to try and throw more of the powder up into the air. That is only going to be a 13.
So
what is your AC, Triss?
it's a 15.
Okay, perfect. It is unable to get it. It's sending stuff off of its tail and off of its head, but these jets of powder, I see it kind of like glitter. So it's all very glittery here.
Oh, being glitter bombed.
You're being glitter bombed. It's just kind of exploding out into the night. But just then, you hear a thwack as a flaming arrow sticks into the skeletal cage. Argus, you can see that the top of the skeletal cage is starting to burn. And when you, Triss and Iratran, turn, you see 3 figures running out of the path that you'd found to the wall. 2 of them look like humans wearing your typical like adventurer gear. The third is a taller, slimmer person wearing a full robe, hood up. In the dark, you can't quite see their face. But they are now entering the battle. I'm going to slot them in, since we're at the top of the order, after the moth, which means we'll have another full turn before they go. But that brings us back to Iratran. It is your turn.
We're still on top of it, right?
Yes.
All right. I'm going to take my scimitar and my short sword, and we're going to go hacky.
Okay. Excellent. Roll.
All right. With my scimitar going downward strike, 20.
Okay. That is going to hit. Roll for damage.
All right. Let's see. 11.
That's pretty good. Wow. And for your second attack?
Oh, I'm thinking we're gonna go right in with the scimitar and wedge it in with a short sword, like pry that shit open. Oh, 13.
That is going to hit, just
big guy,
barely. You can see that this thing, it's got just natural armor, and so its AC is relatively low because it is a large creature. But yeah, roll for damage.
7.
Okay, excellent. You are hacking off pieces of this thing's exoskeleton, and then when you wedge the sword in, you actually see another jet of that powder, and you're able to direct it into the air, so it just safely glitter bombs the wall, which is now covered in Argus's water and a lot of glitter. Argus, it is your turn. You can see that the fire that is starting on this skeletal cage is starting to it looks like it's just starting to crisp the exoskeleton itself. There doesn't seem to be any danger to you. In fact, it seems to be lessening the stability of this cage.
I'm going to try to break out.
Okay. I'm going to let you do that with advantage. You can see that if you try and go where this fire is, you might have a better chance.
13 for the first. 17 for the second.
That's going to do it. Tell us how you heroically get out of this cage.
It's not heroically at all. Letting you know. So I kind of wind up and kind of get to the far side of the cage and just go, ah! And then run through the side of the cage and bash through it and it probably gives way a little bit easier than I thought it would. So
Oh yeah,
it's,
there's like flaming exoskeleton
it's
just like exploding out from you.
so I bash through it. And I go.
Iratran, Triss, you see Argus kind of like smoking, trailing some of this powder, running around in a circle around you. Since you passed your check, Argus, you do get to have a turn.
Oh, nice. I am going to I'm assuming I still had my short bow drawn, so I'm gonna try and take a shot into the other eyes.
Yeah.
Opposite of the ones that I hit before.
Yeah, roll it.
Yeah. Ah! Screaming the entire time. It's a 14.
Okay, that's gonna hit.
And total damage is 10 points of damage.
That's pretty damn good. This one hits the other compound eye, which just explodes. And those little lenses and more powder just goes everywhere. We're just going to call it glitter. We're just going to call it glitter. And more glitter goes everywhere.
Glitter everywhere.
Which brings us to Triss.
Does this thing have a sack on its body where all the glitter is coming from?
There does seem to be a pouch of some sort inside. You could see that when Iratran shoved the sword in, that's one of the places that it ruptured to do that.
I'd like to rupture whatever's left of the sack
Okay,
with
roll
my
it.
rapier.
Just
Roll it.
Damn it.
rupturing sack.
It's a 22.
That's going to hit.
Damage is 10.
Okay. I'm going to need you to roll a dexterity saving throw.
Mm, 12.
Okay. That's not going to do it.
Oh, great.
You take 2 psychic damage as you shove your rapier into what's left of this pouch, and it explodes, filling up the inside of this moth, but some of it does come out and get right into your face, which is why you take the damage. The moth does not look good. In fact, it is now starting to writhe around and curl up. And as it does, it starts to lose its substance. So both you, Iratran, and Triss are starting to sink through it almost. And it starts to burn away into more of this glitter and black smoke. And as it disappears, you do see one shining thing on the ground where it left. But at that moment, those 3 figures, which were running out of the woods, skid to a halt. And the 2 mercenary-looking ones just stand there with their weapons at the ready. One of them's holding a glaive, the other one's holding a hammer and buckler. And the third one says, "Well, I was hoping to make a heroic entrance, but it seems like you've got this taken care of."
And you are?
He pulls back his hood, and you see that he is a pale fellow with exceptional hair, of which I am oh so jealous. It does have a silver streak in it. And he says, "Oh, my apologies. We met briefly. My name is Eston. I saw you that night that the orphanage unfortunately caught fire."
I'm really bad with names. Did I see you at the orphanage?
No, sorry. I was traveling with your partner, Naomi, and he actually starts looking around. We were road friends. for a
Oh,
brief
I
while.
remember. You were by the leaderboard.
Yes, exactly.
So you decided to do this this garden adventure too?
Oh, no, not willingly, believe me, but your friend Jer, he thought it best to, well, I'd been going through some of his paperwork. I'm a bit of a intellectual, you might say, and I translated some of the work that he was using to, regardless, I believe that some of your information might be incorrect, and so he asked me to come along and assist.
What are your skills?
Oh, well, I'm devilishly handsome, incredibly smart, and I can make a mean curry.
Well, that's wonderful. Can you figure out how to get over that wall?
Oh, and as you point to it, actually, the wall slides. There's a indention that appears in the wall, and it slides open, and we see Naomi. And on her shoulder is a small mouse. Naomi, you got Meeples off, man.
Oh, yes. Meeples, you're a free mouse. You're welcome.
After the trial, which was in deliberation for some time, it was ruled that Meeples was not at fault and that Clythe should at least investigate his options for therapy, though he was not sentenced to do so. All
Good for
charges
him,
were
you know?
dropped. And Meeples honored her end of the bargain and took you through some of the drain pipe, which you realized during it you never would have been able to navigate yourself because it was a bit of a labyrinth down there. But once up there, she showed you to a place where you'd be able to use a lever and open the door for your friends. And now
Wow.
you are all together. And Eston says, Naomi! A pleasure. I'm sorry I didn't have a moment to say goodbye, but what with the orphanage burning and all that, I thought maybe you were a bit too busy.
Eston, I'm looking around and there's like the mangled corpse of this moth thing, or did it dissolve?
It dissolved, and he actually,
okay.
as you see it, Naomi, there is a shiny thing where it was. You see the last of it burn away into glitter and smoke, and there's a shiny thing there.
Oh, I love those.
Argus
Okay.
is still screaming at the glitter and smoke as it floats away. He's like,
Is anybody else really injured? Because I only have 3 hit points left.
I've got 6. That's how I measure health here, right?
Triss, your nose is bleeding, and it's just full of glitter. It looks like you have been partying too hard.
Burning Man,
Iratran-
am I right?
Iratran, you too are covered in glitter. The wounds seem to all be psychic, and so you are injured and you have suffered this damage, but it is much like your other time here in Haraskarn, where it is it's really hitting you kind of in the brain pan, in the emotional bucket. But you are suffering those HP.
Wow.
So when you Naomi, do you tell your friends about the do you tell your friends about the shiny thing?
Sorry. Yes.
Okay.
I'm in the middle of a sentence to, Eston, oh my God, this is, and then I think I spot the thing and I just beeline towards it and just go to pick it up, like hand out, just like, meow.
You find a tattered piece of the wing, which remained. This is the first time that you found something like this. Mechanically speaking, an item like this from a dangerous enemy, when it remains after the rest of it turns to black smoke, can be used to create magical items. Typically, they will be one, and it will be awarded to whoever, or suiting whoever was most heroic during the battle. But you can see that this was a tattered piece of the wing, which might be able to be big enough to create a cloak of some kind. But you will need to get it back to someone who knows how to do such things, because in its raw form, it is nothing more than an expensive ingredient.
Okay. So it's like a textile, like I could fold it and put it in my backpack? Okay. Sure. Well, I guess I'll just pick it up and kind of look around at everybody and I say, do you want this, or is it cool if I just, because I'm just gonna, is it cool if I
What even is it?
yes.
What is it?
I hold it up.
It's shimmering. It's the fabric of the wings, and you can see that it is covered in a type of glitter that's no longer weaponized. But you can see that it is obviously magical.
It's all yours. I don't want it. I never want to see glitter again.
You've
I've
got
never
something
been
on your little right here.
Wow.
You almost got it. Nah.
Must
Okay,
have.
well, great. I hold it up, and I'm just gonna stick it in my backpack.
Yeah.
Cool. When you guys craft it, it will become obvious who it benefits the most. I will not hide that. You all have different skill sets, you will see. But Naomi is holding on to a piece of the skeletal moth wing. Aston is looking past you into the doorway that Naomi has just opened up. The drain that you climbed out of, Naomi, would not have been very far from this door, so you haven't had much time to explore what's on the other side of the wall.
I see. Okay, so we kind of took a loop to get back to the door from the original drain opening.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can see that you're just kind of lost in what must have been like a sprinkler system. You know, like there was a lot going on down there. It wasn't just a single drain.
Got it. Okay.
That might have actually been like a release valve that you climbed into. Yeah, so it was just a labyrinth of pipes, and Meeples brought you back around. She actually leans over and says, Naomi, it's been a pleasure, but I gotta go.
Oh, Meeples, I wish you the best. You know, remember not to say anything behind anyone's back that you wouldn't say to their face, and stay away from cheese that seems like it's too easy to get. That's my life advice for you, Meeples.
Thanks, Naomi. And if I could give you any advice, it would be to get out of this swamp as quickly as possible. And the mouse hops off and scurries down the wall and disappears.
I'm gonna miss that mouse.
Where have you been? We got attacked.
Yeah, you guys look terrible.
You look terrible.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm a lawyer now. We crawled through some drains, you know. Now I know what a TV dinner feels like. It's really wild down there. But listen, that's a dead end. Okay, I think we're not gonna get through by going under. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, sorry, no, Naomi, you have solved the puzzle. You opened the door
what?
from the opposite side of the wall. It's hard to abstract it. Meeples led you through to the inside of the wall.
Yeah.
The drain just came out close to the door. I was only saying that you haven't had time to explore past opening this passage for your...
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys, I have great news.
You did
I
it!
solved the puzzle. We're totally gonna get through this wall. It turns out the way through is under.
Yeah, and now that Naomi says that, Eston leads the way through the door. He actually asks his two, they're just sellswords, they're just mercenaries. He asks them to hold position at the archway and not follow. And he says, if I might, it seems that your translation of the map was incorrect.
Whose translation?
Well, and he points to some of the runes at the top, and he says, for the longest time, the cartographers coveted a map to the garden. But that doesn't say garden at all. It says greenhouse.
Your point being?
When you walk through the door into the other side of the wall, there is no garden. It's just a barren courtyard. However, once you are through the threshold of that door and safely on the other side of the wall, strange because it was not visible from outside, there's a tower. It looks to be 200 feet tall.
Ooh.
This would stretch 150 feet above the top of the wall, and yet you could not see it from outside. Naomi, you have some experience with illusions. You would not be surprised to find out that perhaps something like that would be at work.
Uh-huh.
It rises into the night like an obsidian talon. It is thick at the base, but climbs to a small curved point at the top, where a radiant silver light shines like a beacon, illuminating a lush green overgrowth spilling off of the platform of the tower. There can be no doubt that this is where you'll find the flower and glory. Eston points to the top and says, "You see? A greenhouse."
Tallest tree I've ever seen.
How do we not see that? That's ridiculous.
Now, I just want to get it all out there. I'm not cheap. I did agree to help you. And in exchange, Jer said that I might have a first look at any of the artifacts in which you find in this tower. I don't need to keep them, but I would love to examine them before you trade them for something as silly as money.
Why don't you come in the tower with
Money is
us?
silly. I like you.
I like you too.
Who the hell are you?
I'm Eston, by the way, a friend,
I'm
a
Argus.
good friend of Naomi's.
Next to me.
What? Oh, sure. Okay.
All right. I'm Iratran. I just met her.
A pleasure. Argus, Iratran. Triss, Jer has told me so much about you.
I bet he has. How is he
Tell you
doing, by
he's
the
the
way?
princess.
I'm not
He's-
a princess. Can you please tell them I'm not a princess?
She's not a princess.
Thank you.
Now, Jer is worried sick and feels horrible about sending you in here with subpar intel, but that's why I've come. I would love to accompany you into the tower, as a matter of fact, because I feel there is much to learn from the greenhouse at the top.
Oh, we have a new travel companion.
All right. I mean, Naomi, you know him. You can vouch for him.
I
You're
know him
excited
about as well as I know you lot.
Ooh.
Eston, I don't mean to be rude. Did Jer send you with anything? A note, a seal, anything to show us that you have spoken to him, that you're coming here with his consent and agreement and everything else? He didn't send a note. Just pin it to your shirt. You know, nothing.
Springing your friend from a skeletal trap in the blink of an eye is not proof enough.
Okay,
I know
the
of the
skeletal
map, I
trap
know
thing
of
was
the
pretty good.
translation.
Yeah, all right, okay.
He
Yeah.
sprung me from the trap, and he likes plants. I like him.
What is it you mean to say, Naomi?
I don't mean to say a thing. We've had a weird couple of days, you know. There's been a lot of big mud guys, and then there's this big moth thing. And like I said, I'm sort of contemplating a whole second career thing in law, and there's a lot going on. So I'm a little discombobulated. We've only known each other for about 48 hours, and I'm just trying to get my feet under me. I meant no offense.
As long as we're cool.
Eston, we're cool. I think we should all go
People-
into the tower together, however.
Once you say he's cool, he pulls a satchel around from his back and opens it and pulls out a stack of parchment. A lot of it is his own writings, and some of it's in a language that none of you immediately recognize, but anybody who would like to is welcome to roll insight.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's not thieves' cant, correct?
It's not thieves' cant.
Right.
But Triss, you may roll with advantage for that line of thinking.
25.
Jeez.
Perfect.
God, 10.
And
Argus, you've been around. You've met many different people. You've seen many different languages, though you might not be able to read all of them. It's clear immediately that this is a hybrid of several different kinds. And it may be deliberately difficult to read, as though it is in code. But he flips to the back of the sheet and holds up several different pieces of parchment that do have information that look like Jer's handwriting and some of his notes that he was taking after studying the cartographer's map before you left. And then there's a second piece of paper in which Jer had drawn a copy of the map, though it looks like a kindergartner's crayon drawing. It did get Eston
So that's
here.
definitely Jer's writing. It's terrible. It's shit.
It's good to know he's still useful.
Is this proof enough, Naomi?
I look at Triss. This is his writing. It's his writing.
I'm here for the discovery. I don't even want to get my sticky little fingers on your treasure. I just want to examine it.
You came through this stupid swamp just for the yucks, buddy. You I don't know. You got to get your priorities sorted out. It's been rough.
Look
You
at
know
this
what I mean?
place. The courtyard that
look
we're
at this
standing in
place.
is behind an impenetrable wall 50 feet high. That tower is cloaked with illusions. Think about how many secrets are hidden here. Think about how much could be learned. We'll be the first to set foot in here in I don't know how long. Untold riches await, as well as untold secrets. I'm vibrating with excitement.
You had me at untold riches. Let's get in there.
You had me at vibrating. Let's go.
He points to both of you and says, I think I know what kind of adventuring party this is. Okay, you walk to the tower. Unlike the wall, there's a door. It is large. It is bound in iron, and it seems to be locked.
A lock?
How would you like to proceed?
Can I use my thieves' tools
You may.
to unlock it? All right.
You may. Roll investigation. And you are still exhausted, so you will be rolling this at disadvantage.
Anyone else bleeding out right now besides me?
Yes, I am as well. A 4.
4?
Right. Because I'm
Okay.
at disadvantage and it's absolutely screwing me.
Okay, let's step through this. So Triss takes a moment to examine the lock. It looks locked. Argus, you are talking about HP. Does anybody want to, before we get into the tower, deal with health?
I would like to, please.
How would you like to do that?
Well, we could. It seems like it's rather nice and cozy in here. I wouldn't mind taking a short rest, even for just an hour or so. That'll assist with some things.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Do we feel the magic
anyone-
in here?
Yeah. If anything, it's deepening. It seems that once you cross the threshold of the wall and made eyesight with the tower, who likes Arcana? Roll Arcana.
Who has that?
It's just a skill.
Oh, right. I do not.
I am number 4, but let's find out.
I got 11, but I'm bleeding out, so that makes sense.
I'm still at disadvantage, Jesse, or is that
You're sleepy.
okay? So 15 for me.
And I crit failed.
You're not magical.
I can't see shit.
I got 7.
Here's what's up. Iratran, Naomi, your observation is going to be tied into what happens with Iratran, but because he crit failed, we're going to deliver that knowledge to you in a certain way. Iratran, you're sniffing around trying to figure out the source of this magic as it has gotten stronger here. You lay your hand on the tower and immediately feel yourself drain. You will take a level of exhaustion. Naomi, based on this, you can tell that the magic is stronger here because whatever is doing this to the swamp may very well be located in this tower.
Woof.
Iratran, the only thing that you will be suffering is disadvantage on skill checks. It will not affect combat.
So no rest, correct?
From everything that you've experienced in Horuskarn so far, getting a rest that will be worth anything may not be possible.
But healing? Are we
You
able to
can
heal?
use spells. Didn't you guys buy some potions?
No,
No.
they're expensive. Wait,
Yes.
Wait, yeah, we hella did.
we got provisions. We can afford potions.
It's an equipment, correct?
Yeah, we got little med kits, little first aid, little REI moment.
Yeah, so medkits only come in handy if you reach 0 health, which you're welcome to try. But unless Argus is wanting to burn some spell slots, you might be in trouble.
Well, I only have 3. This is
That's good.
terrible.
And
Do
I
you
only
have
have
any
2.
healing abilities, or do you have anything on you aside
I
your
can
clever wit?
heal up to 2 people,
Hmm.
and or I could heal one person a lot and then give everyone else 1 hit point and full bellies and possibly gas if you have too many. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with you guys. I don't know. So where are you at, Triss? You have 3.
3.
Naomi, you're at a 4.
I'm at 4, but I think it's just because I'm bummed from the mud experience. It's
Totally
just seasonal
bummed.
affective disorder.
Tran, how are
Sad.
you
You've
feeling?
got
You're
sad.
pretty good too, huh?
Still got mud in your ears. I got 6
You're
HP
6.
personally. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna cast Cure Wounds on Triss. So Triss, you're gonna get back 7 hit points.
That puts me back to full health. Thank you so much.
Grumble, grumble, grumble. And then I'm gonna cast Goodberry, which is my D8, and that will give me a total of, we said +5 or +6.
It's plus your wisdom.
Oh, it's my wisdom. Okay, so my wisdom, so it's +4. So I have 5 total good berries.
Okay. Everybody can eat up to 2.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna give 2 to Naomi.
I can take 1. That's okay.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
1 for Naomi, 2 for Iratran, and 2 for me.
Okay, Iratran and Argus, you got full bellies. But otherwise, everybody gets their allotted HP. Okay, Triss, that means that after you are healed, you are back at the door. It looks locked.
Ew. Wait. But I'm still at disadvantage, correct? All right.
With your thieves' tools, you will be able to roll regular.
Oh.
It would normally give you advantage, but the way that D&D 5e works is that if you would be at advantage and then give yourself advantage, they just cancel out. So you're straight rolling.
Reroll. All right. And that was investigation.
No. Sorry. This is to
Oh.
open the door. Investigation just revealed the door is locked.
Yeah.
So what do I roll for opening?
It is, I believe, just dex and proficiency bonus. Oh, no. We're going to rock with sleight of hand. Whatever your sleight of hand skill is.
That's +4.
Ooh.
21.
Okay. Here's what happens.
Uh-oh.
You go to work on the lock and you hear what is very obviously a trap starting to spring that your low investigation check did not reveal. However, since you rolled a fucking 21 to pick this lock, you are quickly able to pause and disarm this trap. When the door swings open, you can see behind it there are 4 javelins stacked on each side in a mechanism that would have thrust them through.
Whew, that was
No.
close.
Ugh.
So stop rolling
Okay.
so high, because I
Looking
have
at
traps
Beetle.
that I'd like to spring on you.
We live.
When you rolled 6 for investigation, I was like, I'm gonna get these fuckers.
Ha!
Okay.
What's up, TPK? How you
Can't
doing?
bring me down.
All right.
He's got full health. He's
So-
already gonna stab you.
Eston's hanging back, especially once he sees the javelin trap. But within the tower, there is ruin. Ancient tapestries, too moldy and decrepit to be described. The wide hall has many archways leading to other rooms, some of which are collapsed, others are just empty completely. There's a spiral staircase in the center which basks in a halo of silver light, which has been refracted off of a mirror system set up to illuminate the interior of the tower. It's old, but at one point, you could imagine this tower being quite impressive. It is 200 feet tall. So as you look up, the spiral staircase, kind of backlit by all of these mirrors, climbs to the very top.
Well, let's get walking.
Cool. You going up the stairs?
Yeah.
All right.
You need stairs.
How do you want to go?
1 foot in front of the other.
Okay.
With boomerang drawn.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Good call. Scimitar, long, short sword.
Mm-hmm. Rapier.
Okay. Sure.
I'm gonna cast my cantrip on my scimitar just to light the way.
Argus hates stairs, so he's gonna climb it like he's acting like he's climbing a tree.
Okay.
Like,
Sure.
climbing it.
It sounds like maybe Eartran's leading the way.
Yeah.
Argus bringing up the rear with Eston alongside, who's kind of watching him climb on hands and knees. Sure.
Well, proper footing.
You get to the first landing, Eritran, and you put 1 foot in front of the other, and you hear a click. Everybody make a dexterity saving throw.
Yeah.
Oh, I probably should look for traps. Oops.
Are you the rogue?
Right. 11. Oof.
19.
6.
Wait, am I at disadvantage?
No. Saving
Okay.
throws are different.
Okay.
That there
24,
are different
fam.
levels.
What?
Okay, so Eritran, you step on a pressure plate, and you see little panels pop up in the floor. Again, there's 6 of them. Both you and Naomi roll to the side. Let's see what's up with Eston. Eston also rolls to the side. Triss, Argus, you catch what are a face full of caltrops, which are the size of marbles, but little balls of spikes that are used to, they're often spread to create difficult terrain or deal
Ow.
damage. They deal 2 damage to each of you, and then create what will be an unsavory carpet to walk on your way down as they fling out behind you.
Ouch.
All right, so what's up? You're on the first landing. You just dodged a trap.
Some of us did.
Wow, I'm really, really bleeding out. Oh boy.
Then should I look for more traps?
Yes,
You
please.
may.
All right.
Does anybody want to help her? She is currently at disadvantage because of her exhaustion. So if somebody is trained in investigation, they are able to lend her a hand.
Oh, investigation, not
Oh,
perception.
investigation. Okay.
I have a plus
yeah,
1.
I'll do my best.
I have super hard perception, not investigation.
Yes, because I rolled a 7 disadvantage.
15 for me.
And disadvantage gives me 18.
Woo!
Eritran, you are able to lead the crew up the rest of the tower. There are several instances of traps. In one case, there's an archway that would lead off of the second landing towards what looks like more rooms, and you can see that it's actually a false door, and right on the other side there's a pit that somebody would have fallen into had they investigated. There's a couple more caltrop traps which you're able to go around, and one other javelin like ejection system that you're able to dodge as well. So everybody thank Eritran.
Thanks, Eritran.
Gotcha.
Need to get some sleep.
Okay. But you are able to make it to the top of the tower. It takes you a while, especially because most of your guys' rolls to investigate sucked. And so you have to kind of crawl up, following the fighter as he sniffs out these traps and escorts you to the top. But you make it.
Very
I'm going to
light-footed fighter.
scroll forward.
Ugh,
Okay.
not feeling very good.
The stairs finally end, walking through the top archway into a lush gardenscape, where you're met with fresh air and starlight that shines through the glass of the domed ceiling. You can see that panels are broken and that the plants inside which are there's in comparison to this hollowed out swamp, there's just this forest exploding out of this place, and the broken panels are where the trees and the vines have grown out that you saw from the foot of the tower. There's a bunch of trees that you've never seen before, which is very interesting to you, I think, Argus. They're in full bloom, and they've got fuzzy little kiwi-type fruits hanging from their branches. There's a gravel pathway which leads through to a beautiful tea garden that smells like jasmine, colorful flowers, and that leads towards a massive tree at the pinnacle of the garden. Argus, this is more to you, I think. You recently had an experience with the tree where it felt like nothing. It felt like a void of energy. This tree feels alive and ancient. It is surrounded by a dozen small quartz obelisks. There's hundreds of thick branches that reach towards the heavens, each bough ending with a small canopy of diamond-shaped leaves. And there, finally, glowing like a star near the heart of the tree, it is unfurled like a lotus flower, but its petals are cupped like an orchid's. None of you have seen anything so beautiful in your entire lives. It is the Silvershade Nightingale.
Hey, that's the thing.
Aston says, there it is. There it is.
So beautiful.
Indeed.
I've searched the world, never
I
seen.
feel awful trying to pick it.
That's our whole job.
It feels wrong.
I mean, it's renewable, right? It's a flower. But I know what you mean.
I sit quietly and stare at the tree in deep contemplation.
Sure. Aston starts to circle it, and he said, I've never read about this flower in particular, but I have read about magical plants. It's peculiar. It most likely is renewable, Naomi, but a single blossom on a tree this old, it makes me think that they must grow and therefore bloom, but every couple decades, 100 years, I don't know. But don't let that dissuade you. It feels like this moment carries weight, perhaps because of the unique flower before us. Does it not feel like destiny?
Oof, destiny feels gross.
Well, you are covered in lard and what looks to be sewage slime.
Well, yeah, I was speaking more metaphorically from the emotions part of it, Eston.
So literal.
All right. Well, if
This is
we're
not my
going to do it,
quest.
let's do it.
Can I do a passive sense before we just walk up to this thing?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. Since you've entered the greenhouse, especially in proximity to the flower itself, the oppressive element of the magic that's been bothering you is lessened, though it is not gone. Because you looked into it earlier, you could see that perhaps something in the greenhouse is where the effect is coming from, that the tower might be amplifying it. But you don't seem to be in any immediate danger. So if you guys want to look around or do anything, you're more than welcome to. There's a tree. There's several obelisks that are placed around, small obelisks, about a dozen of them. There's stuff, and there's the flower.
I'm gonna investigate that fruit on the way in.
Sure.
Investigation. Oh, can I do a passive? I don't even know how to do it.
You can just roll for investigation. What are you looking for? Just tell me what you're looking for.
I am looking for a sign of where this power is coming from.
Sure. I don't think you need a roll.
Oh, never mind.
It's the flower.
The flower itself? Oh,
At the very least, that is the most obvious place. There does seem to be, I mean, it's like glowing, you know?
But glowing usually means so happy. All right.
It's like a strange silver light. So it's, I wouldn't say it looks happy. I would just say it looks powerful.
Okay. I'll be the. Does anyone want to go adventure towards it, or will I be the first?
I mean, is there any point in looking for traps around it? It feels a bit like taking a mama bird's egg from a nest. It feels like it might trigger something. So can I check for a trap?
Sure. Roll investigation at disadvantage. You just need a nap, Triss.
God, it's a
All
one.
need a nap.
It's a
A
one.
critical failure?
Oh,
Yes.
oh God.
I'm too mesmerized.
As you are looking for traps, and like brushing the flower aside, you apply a bit too much pressure and actually knock the bloom off of the vine. And the moment that it comes loose, it starts to wilt.
No!
And Eston says, "Good God!" Quick!
Does anybody have a book? Just press it in the book. Press it in the book.
It was so
What?
delicate,
No!
I barely brushed it.
My book.
Quick, grab
I was
it!
trying
Grab
to
it!
save it.
I run over,
Quickly!
press it into my adventurer's book. Between
When
chapters,
you
they're like,
grab it, Iratran, you're certain that you will not be able to get it into the book. Aston's now like scrolling through his notes. All right, let me just fucking roll for this asshole.
Argus, water it. Water it.
I don't know if you can see this. It's an 18.
No.
Aston rolls, and with his intelligence, you guys are gonna get hooked up. You guys are gonna get hooked up, maybe. His int is good. He's good. Okay, so he gets a 21. Yeah, Aston looks around and says, the obelisks! Quickly, bring it here, Iratran. And he points to one of the obelisks. And as you get close, Iratran, you can see that there's actually like a basin on the top of it.
Oh, so I put the flower in the basin.
Yeah, nothing happens. But he says I'll describe this thing to you. So each of the obelisks looks exactly the same. They're made out of what could be obsidian. It's like a black glassy substance. And at the top, there is a basin. And there are 3 gems set into the top. They look exactly the same, and they appear to just be like a clear crystal. And he says, does anyone know magic? We need to save it. It's a flower. It's a dying, a flower dying.
Argus is sitting here talking to a piece of fruit.
Okay.
Argus, get over here.
Is it okay if I eat you? You look so beautiful.
Argus, drop the freaking kiwis and get over here.
What? Okay, what?
Come running over.
What did I miss?
We have a flower here, and it's dying.
Okay.
I would like to do an Arcana check.
Okay. Roll it.
Cool. I have no idea what to do. It's an 11.
That'll be good enough for some information. The crystals catch your eye. There's 3 crystals set in a triangular pattern on top of this basin, on the lip of it. They are inert magically, but they do feel like they could hold something. They feel like they are a spent battery. You know, like you're reaching out with your druidic powers and you're seeing like, oh, this is a battery that is depleted.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to dang it. I'm going to take some water from one of my from my water skin, which I always still have a little bit left, kind of dabble it in, and then I'm going to cast shape water on it to create a small whirlpool so the water continues to move with magical energy, just in a rotating.
Okay. Yeah, what school of magic is that?
It's transmutation.
Okay, cool. So
The water will move itself in a transformative manner.
the water starts to swirl, and it actually kind of like stands the flower up on its little stem. And as Argus casts this transmutation spell, one of the crystals starts to glow with a little bit of light, and kind of burning into it is an arcane symbol. And Eston says, transmutation. Transmutation! Quick, does anyone know any more magic?
I can disguise myself. It's just me. It's myself. It's only my thing.
No, maybe disguise the flower, make the flower look whole?
Oh yeah. Oh great. Okay. Great. So minor illusion, and just make the flower look awesome at its best, at its shiniest, most beautiful moment.
Okay, yeah. So as the water's swirling, you see the second of the three crystals start to glow, and an arcane symbol burns into the top of it that is for the School of Illusion Magic. Eston points it out. And it's like the illusion of the flower is a coloring book, and the dying flower starts to fill it back up as though you've given it a template to fill. And Eston says, right, so we need one more school of magic. And he pulls a small white orb out the sleeve of his robe. And he does something.
What? You said all you had was good looks and smarts.
Can I roll a perception check on this guy?
Yeah, roll it.
I mean,
What do you want to know?
I just want to know insight. I just want to know his true intentions.
Sure. You're going to roll it at disadvantage because the tower sucked your chutzpah out.
I'm so exhausted. Chutzpah. That's a bad sign. 9.
Okay. Seems like he's pretty invested in what he's doing.
All right.
Eston.
That's an evil cackle if I ever heard one. Jeez.
I just forgot that this was on the character sheet. I have a character sheet for Eston that I just don't look at as often. I'm just making sure I know how to do it. Okay, yeah. So everyone needs to make a wisdom saving throw as Eston pulls this orb out. He's not looking at you. He's looking at the flower.
23. I rolled a natural 20.
Dirty 20.
Oh, great. Okay.
There better to be curry coming out of that bowl.
Iratran and Naomi?
10 for me.
A 10 for both of you?
No, 7.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here's what's up. I gotta get a D8.
Trith, shoot him in the orb.
I will rupture the orb.
Blow that bullock out of the ground.
Okay, so just to be very clear, Triss, Argus, nothing happens to you. Iratran, Naomi, you hear what sounds like an incredibly loud bell toll in the air above you, and both of you take 4 damage. It is not physical damage, but you're not quite sure what kind of damage it is, as your life force seems to lessen. The water ripples as though sound waves have just passed over it, and the third crystal lights up, and an arcane symbol burns itself into it. And Eston says, I knew it. So.
What did he know?
As soon as that, let me just make sure I got this right here.
Does anyone recognize the symbol? Which school of magic it?
So here's the deal. I will let you roll for it,
Okay.
but you need to tell me how you would know an arcane symbol that is old. It would not be like a current day one, but I think that any of you could, and I could come up with reasons for you, but I'm not going to.
So we roll Arcana?
Yeah, but why?
History books, naturally.
Sure, you have a big library in that big estate that you live in. You will
Right.
roll Arcana at disadvantage because you are sleepy.
Many, many years in the deserts of Drosselmorga, dealing with the Zuhati, all the different areas of magic.
Yeah, I believe it. Roll it.
Sure, let's do it.
Arcana class was too early. I rolled a 4.
Okay.
I slept through most of it.
16.
Constantly seeing all sorts of people across the oceans
Okay.
as I loot and plunder my way.
Yeah, go for it.
Oh, at a disadvantage, right?
Yeah, you're sleepy too.
All right.
16 ain't high enough there, Argus.
Didn't think so. That's so good.
5.
Okay. Naomi?
Yeah, well, when Jer and I were getting to know each other, in the Jer house, I was going through some of his weirder books that he's picked up, and I have a pretty photographic memory, so some of those things might have like filtered through the wine, but an 11. So
Okay, sure. Aston points to the symbol and says, alteration.
Alteration. You can
Right.
alter matter.
Alteration, transmutation. What was the second one? The third one? The second one they got?
illusion.
Fusion, alteration, and transmutation.
What's the difference between transmutation and alteration? They sound very similar.
Huh. Well, I don't know because my head hurts. There's a
Eh.
bell.
Sure. Iratran,
Mm.
you roll insight. I'm gonna give you one more chance because you were suspicious. Roll insight.
20. Oh, wait. At a disadvantage. I really liked that one too. Hey, 23!
Oh, what?
Okay. When Eston points to the rune and says alteration, Iratran, you can tell that he's lying. And then the flower disintegrates to ash. A startling green light erupts upward from the basin. The moon loses a smidge of shine and it's absorbed into an obelisk that erupts into 1,000 particles of dust that shudder and reconstruct into a massive floating skull, which is surrounded in green flames. The sockets of its eyes are hollow, but when it looks down on you, you can see it, and you know that it sees you too. Ah, the lifetimes I've waited. I've patiently, madly, enragedly waited. And now, thanks to you, I am free. Blackout.
Off. Come on now.
Wait, do floating skulls have balls? Because otherwise,
Give me something circular and I'll shoot it.
Oh no! Oh, drag!
Oh,
What
we
the
fucked
fudge
up.
did we do something?
Wow, we screwed the pooch, you guys.
Wow,
we let the
guys.
dogs out.
It went a different direction than I ever expected it to. I thought we were
Yeah.
going to go over and have a pint, and then the Heroes Guild we're wrong.
I was gonna let you guys check for stuff, but Trisk rolled a crit fail on that investigation when she was checking the tree for traps. So
Trying to be a good rogue.
Look, we've all been there, okay? We don't all have natural 20 days, okay?
It's true, and we're sleep deprived, okay?
Yeah.
true fact, definitely tired over here.
Oh my god.
Oh, boy.
I liked the fact that there was a crit fail because it's like this is happening now.
That was horrific. I didn't even want to pick it.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to click. Yeah, it's dying.
There you go.
All right.
Hey, Argus, stop talking to the fruit. Get your ass over here.
Drop that kiwi. Get over.
Oh God.
Ah, goodness gracious.
Oh, this is bad, y'all. This is really bad.
Man, but it's all right because green flaming skulls are a good omen, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
usually
Tune in
not
next week,
related
everybody,
to
for a
some
TPK.
eldritch evil.
Yeah, because I have a green flaming scimitar. We're gonna get along.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to give me a big skull hug?
All right. Well,
Jeez.
that's where we're gonna leave off today, where you guys have just done that.
Great.
I just want to say thanks so much to everybody who's watching. I had a great time. I love playing this game with everybody. Please spread the word, hit the follow button, subscribe. If you want to catch up on anything that you've missed, check out our YouTube. The link is below. Just come hang out with us some more. Yeah. Until next
Yeah.
time, I'm your DM, Jesse Keeter, saying, are you in?
Till next time.
Guys.
Bye, everybody. See you next time.
Have a weekend.